What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Clickbait. Unfortunately, Tia couldn't be here, but better yet, well, maybe not better. Oh,
I'm the new Tia today.
Yeah, we got the new Tia, okay? I like Deandra and Tia equally the same. So, everyone, please welcome Deandra to the podcast. She is helping us co-host today's episode, and then we're going to do the Bachelor Nation breakdown like always. We have the clickbait of the week and a very special guest. He's a TikTok comedian star. He's got over 2 million social media followers. His name is Rod. He's from Chicago. He's done Bachelor Nation, he's recapped The Bachelor. Mm-hmm. And he's very in tune with millennials and Gen Zs and just funny TikToks. So we're going to talk to him. And I'm done rambling. Sorry that you guys had to listen to this. Let's get into it. Bachelor Nation breakdown.
How are you doing? Hello.
Yeah. What am I doing today?
What's happening? Hi, Deandra. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, guys. No problem. I love being here. I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
Deandra,
like,
how are you?
I am great. I'm excited to be here.
Good. Everybody have a good weekend, all the things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm in Canada. It looks like you are in Paris,
France.
London.
I have I went to the 19th century. I'm gone. I'm in the 18th century. No,
Wow.
I'm in California. But yes, it's definitely a transformation of this place is beautiful. It's in Vista, California, and it's this like spa resort. It's my sister's 40th. So I am doing this from here. Yes.
It's the globe.
Yeah, it's the globe for me. Yes, all around the world.
You're literally never home.
Oh, so. Yeah, I don't. I just pay a rent and I'm not home. Yes, that's true. I will be back in California soon. So yay. But yeah, let's get into this breakdown.
All right, let's do it. Okay, first Bachelor Nation breakdown. Becca and Thomas head to the beach. So if you're not following them on social media, Becca and Thomas are now in a serious relationship. They broke up on Paradise, and they are currently in Mexico on vacation, posting your cute coupley post and doing the damn thing like Becca likes to say. So, how do we feel about this? Is everybody like?
Well,
this is like their redemption Mexico trip that you're saying.
Yeah.
That's yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's what Thomas said. On a post that it's like the redemption story. Yeah,
and I love that Thomas said that everyone's like, you should be proposing. I mean, how long ago was Paradise?
A year almost, right?
Yeah, we're about
Really?
8 months. Yeah, we're about
Close.
8 months.
8
Yeah.
months. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was last month.
I'm saying that he didn't propose, but I hope if and when he proposes, it's not in Mexico. Like, come on.
Why?
It could be another beach. It could be Hawaii. It could be somewhere else. It don't have to be Mexico.
But also,
All right,
what is this timeline? Like, why does it have to happen so quickly? Like, they're still in their honeymoon phase. Like, it doesn't have to be super quick.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with the show, it's like everything's so expedited. So, I mean,
Right.
I know that Becca feels so comfortable and they feel so comfortable together. But like, I mean, they live in their life. When it's going to happen, it's going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to happen soon, Joe?
I think it's going to happen soon. But let's talk about, did either of you think that they would get together after the show, after the breakup?
Yes.
I thought so. I thought their connection was just so strong and passionate. I was like really surprised and happy to see them walk away from the beach, maybe not together, so that way they could kind of do their own thing and explore outside of the television world. So I loved it. I'm happy that they're together still.
Well, I know that Becca's mindset, and she said this so many times, it's just like, I've been engaged on TV already. And it's a whole thing, and I don't know that I want to do that again, you know, and it not necessarily work out. So I can see why Becca wants to take her time with an engagement. It's like, I get that. I totally get that. She's kind of been there. She's done that. She's done it twice, right? She got engaged the first time, didn't work out. She got engaged the second time, didn't work out. So I get her enjoying the moment, right? Like, I get that. I get that.
And I feel like there's really no rush for them to get to know each other outside of the show. Like on the show, obviously, you want to get to know someone as quick as you can. Like if it happens, it happens, just like Serena and Joe. But since she does want to take her time making sure that this is the right person, like outside of being on the show, she really needs to develop that relationship with Thomas. And obviously, this will be his first engagement whenever they do decide to get married. So
she also jokes about how he won't leave. I remember he like did something like he posted something like there's nothing I won't do for this girl, something like that, and then she was like, but move to LA because like he's still living in San Diego, and they do their back and forth, and it's not a far drive, although I drove to San Diego on Friday and it took me 5 hours, guys.
Well, LA isn't for everyone, and I feel like especially the people that I have met that are from San Diego or live there, it's like they hate LA. I don't know exactly why.
I got an earful about that being here this weekend. Yeah. Oh, I also met Brandon, by the way, from Michelle's season this past weekend as well.
Oh, okay. Well,
nice.
People are going to say you should be with Brandon.
Oh, I know.
Now that you threw that out there, so you want to.
These people, I take a picture with one person and they like, nah, nah. I mean, people was Ben.
Did you guys make out?
No, we did not make out.
You didn't make out?
No,
you didn't
we
make
did
out.
not.
Was there any, did you flirt? Was there any flirting involved?
No, there was no flirting.
There was no flirting involved.
No. Oh, by the way,
That's
I was talking to James. So, I haven't seen James since Paradise, right? I'm talking to James at the bar and then I'm talking to Aaron at the bar, and there was some girl who's just like, I feel really weird. Like, I'm really sorry. I'm like, you're sorry for what? These are my friends. What do you mean? Like, people are weird. Two people can just have a conversation and not be flirting. It's very weird.
You guys, the Bachelor alum, you guys are just hanging out everywhere.
It's Natasha.
It's me.
Natasha.
She's everywhere.
Oh, it's me. Am I the drama? Is it me? Am I the
drama? Maybe. Okay.
Well, Deandra, I can't wait till you get to LA because, honey.
I know. Same. I'll be there next month, guys. Heads up.
You're in Dallas, right?
Yeah, I am in Dallas. Yeah. And there's no one out here. Just me, Ivan, and Maddie.
Okay. All right. So that's good to go. I think we're good there. Let's go on to the next one.
Yeah.
Demi Burnett reveals her autism diagnosis. So on social media, on Instagram, Demi had posted that she is on the spectrum with autism. And there's obviously a very wide spectrum because autism is a really serious disease. I would consider it a disease, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, not disease, but I would say you would call it a mental, because I mean it affects your mental.
Your brain.
I wouldn't call it. I don't know if the correct thing is a mental disorder or mental illness. I don't know.
I'm not sure either.
What the correct? I'm not a doctor,
right.
But I wouldn't call it a disease.
Yeah,
I don't think it's that. Because
I love that she's speaking about it, though.
Yeah, you would, because if it's a disease, it's like it's almost curable, but it's like, it's something that you learn to cope with and deal with. And I'm proud of her for taking her mental health seriously and trying to figure out, she's been feeling a certain way for a while, and her trying to figure out what that thing is. So I'm sure that this was eye-opening for her. And, there's so many stereotypes of what autism looks like or what it should feel like, or in all these different mental things that happen to us, what a depression looks like, what anxiety looks like, and they think you're supposed to be all balled up in a ball, but it could look like so many different things for so many people. So I am proud of her for saying that openly.
Yeah.
Well, what's surprising about it all is I feel like it's so weird to me that people are giving her hate. Like, why are you going to say you have autism? Like, you don't have autism. Like, I feel like the response is not all positive. And that's so surprising to me because it's like, imagine someone comes out and says they have depression. Who is the next person to be like, you don't have depression? Like, you don't know my life. You don't know. Just because she's on TV, I feel like she gets generalized as like, no, there's nothing wrong with you. Like, there can't be anything wrong with you. We've seen you on the screen. You're not autistic. You're not awkward. You don't keep to yourself. Like, it's like you don't really know the true Demi. So like I'm really proud of her to come out and say something that could be triggering for some people, to share that autism looks like a lot of different things. It's not just one thing. It's not just linear.
And I think there's always going to be people that disagree. When you have a large following like she does, she's got over 1 million followers, or even if it's 10,000, 5,000, there's always going to be somebody that disagrees with you. And I think that's what's hard for a lot of people when they are showcasing themselves and talking about, being vulnerable on social media. You are leaving the door open to be criticized. But, that's part of it.
Right.
They call it a disability. I'm just looking this up. They call autism a disability. So I wanted to be specific about what we were talking about. It requires a medical diagnosis, and they call it a disability. So don't want to be ignorant there for our listeners. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, for the people coming at us, we're not doctors, we're not scientists.
We're not doctors, but we
were on a dating show.
Yeah. We do send love to Demi, and all the changes that she is going through and that she's discovering about herself. And I hope that if anyone's listening and they feel that they're having some sort of imbalance, or they're not feeling like themselves, or they feel that they could, their mood could be enhanced or better or more positive, that they go and maybe look and see and get tested and see if there's different things that they can do to find out what's wrong.
Yeah. Don't ignore how you feel.
Yeah,
basically. Don't ignore how you feel.
Don't ignore how you feel. Bam, baby.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to number 3, an area that I would say we have I wouldn't call us experts, but something we know a little bit what we're talking about because we went through the process. The show, if you watch the show this week, we are now down to 4 women. We have hometowns. The 4 women are Rachel, Gabby, Serene, and Susie. There we go. Okay. I know, Susie looks a little like Hannah Brown, so.
Oh, gosh. If I was her, I'd be so over the comparison. They're 2 different people.
Yeah, but she does. But she does look like her. She does. A
Have
little
you guys
bit.
been watching the show, though? Because I haven't been. So from an outside perspective, there's just so many things that I've heard about the show. I think I watched 1 episode. As far as how it's going, I've heard that he's very comparable to our own, me and Natasha's own, Pilot Pete. That
our own. Listen to you.
Our own. Your own more so than my own. But I just feel like what I've heard, I don't know if this is true, is that he has no idea what he's doing as far as the women he's choosing, or the conversations, how to react in conversations, harder conversations, and that he is kind of just up there a little clueless. Do you guys agree, disagree, or what's your take on it?
That's what they say about our boy Clayton. That's what they say.
Hey, I just haven't seen it, so I don't know. This is what I've heard.
Wow.
Okay.
That's what they say.
So I would say, I would say they are pretty harsh. But like everyone who becomes a lead in, especially Clayton, because he, Pilot Pete was top 3 or top 2 in his or top 3 on his season. So he was on the show longer, where Clayton really was middle of the pack. So
was he top 6?
He wasn't top 6.
He wasn't?
No.
Interesting.
No, he was middle of the pack, but regardless, whatever. For anyone who becomes a lead, it's new to them, and not everybody does it perfectly. But I do have to say, in this episode, I thought Clayton, this was the best that I've seen him. When he did call, so there was a woman, Sarah, who went home, and he called her out for fake crying to him.
Wait, let's rewind.
I like that.
Let's rewind.
It was funny.
Yeah, let's rewind. So this girl, Sarah, gets accused by Marinara, that she is kind of putting on, she's being too cocky. She's talking about her relationship to everybody, saying basically feeling like she has it in the bag, and everyone else is feeling that she has it in the bag. And she's talking about things that her and Clayton talk about, blah, 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 blah. And they said that it seems like she's not ready for marriage, and she is just kind of putting on to, intimidate the other girls. So, Sarah, the girl, Sarah, gets accused by Marinara, that she is kind of putting on, she's being too cocky. She's talking about things that her and Clayton talk about, blah, 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 blah. And they said that it seems like she's not ready for marriage, and she is just kind of putting on to, intimidate the other girls. So there was a therapy date, which the therapy date got a lot of flack, but there was a therapy date, and she was like, oh, I love therapy. Therapy's so great. I love it. Like, I'm someone who thrives in therapy. So she got really excited, where all the other women were very nervous to open up and speak and all these things. And so she's talking about therapy. And then the therapist drops a bomb. When she says somebody is being performative, I said,
no.
Jesus.
Not performative.
Yeah, the therapist literally said, you guys really opened up. Some of you were really great, and some of you were, one of you were performative.
A therapist
like you was
and a medium.
Faking. Yeah, I said, oh, wow. I got real interested. So then after that, blah, 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 he confronts Sarah, and Sarah is literally speaking like, I don't know why anyone would say this. No tears. No tears. Cry
now
voice.
The night,
no
and
tears.
we have seen her cry before, because whatever it was, like a week prior, she had cried the last episode.
Yes. She had a one-on-one, and she was accused of these things, and so she, cried and everything. But it was the cry voice for me with no tears. Yeah. It's like, I can see if you're you're being sad, whatever. But she literally was like
trying to produce a tear.
There's but also like you sniff when there's like stuff coming out. Nothing was coming out.
And it also seems like the rest of the girls don't like her. Now, we're definitely missing a chunk to this story, because there's something that we all like that we don't know about. There's a missing piece to the Sarah story. But regardless, I don't know.
But Clayton was like, girl, you faking.
Yeah. And then she's like, I'm not. He's like, and then she goes, I'm not. And he goes, well, I just don't believe you.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
He's really willing
that was
to
the
call
first
someone
time
out.
we've seen Clayton be like, hold on, wait.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
So I think the reason why Deandra, to your point, I think the reason why he was getting a lot of criticism because there was a girl that was on the season that should have went home she should have went home a long time ago, and she stayed around, and it was a whole thing. So I think that's why people were kind of giving him that criticism. But when it came to Sarah, the fake crying and all that, I mean, I don't know. Did you guys see that? I saw a thing that Blake Horstman was like, no, I believe Sarah. You can be all cried out, and I get why she wasn't actually crying, and I get this and I get that.
Yeah,
I feel like you cried.
Did you believe her? What did you think, Joe? Did you believe her, or did you think she was faking?
Yeah, I think because her voice was like, because she presented herself in a crying manner, but wasn't crying, that's where my issue comes in. Where if she just was like, this is what happened, and was sad and talked in a normal tone, but she did it seemed like she was attempting to come off like she was crying, but there was no tears, because it was like her, like you kind of explained it, like with her voice.
It did seem performative, in my opinion. I do have another question for you. This season in the ITMs, and Deandra, you haven't seen this, but what they've been showing in the ITMs are very much like, here's the girl with Clayton, and then this the real me. It's like you're getting more attitude, you're getting more sass, you're getting more like, oh, Clayton. And then in the ITMs, it's like, bitch, what? Hold on.
But do you think that goes into Clayton as a person? Do you feel like it's maybe because he presents himself as wanting someone who's a little sweeter and can't handle the sassy? Like, I don't know. Like, I always think that that's a really important part of picking a bachelor, is like someone who can handle who you are. The sass, everything.
I don't know, but I feel like I see this so much. It's like, even Sarah, she was like, I'm going to use this therapy stuff to my advantage. And then she got in the therapy room and she was like, so I love therapy. It's perfect.
She's not the only one.
She's not the only one. And I'm not trying to call her out. There's been multiple people.
There's been multiple women that have acted a certain way in front of Clayton, and then in their ITMs and in their interviews, they're like extremely cocky.
Yeah.
And it's just like, all right, well, if you guys want to play that game, I mean, good luck. But
no, it's really,
and
I feel like we've never seen that. It's like when we see someone sweet with The Bachelor, they're just sweet. on, in their ITMs, whatever,
Usually, yeah.
Usually. But this season, and I don't know if it's just specific to these women or if it's like the producers are like, nah, we gonna show y'all who she really is. You know what I mean? Whereas like someone like Gabby, who everyone says she's so funny, she's so this, she'll say something like funny in her ITM, but then she'll do the same thing with the girls. She'll do the same thing with Clayton. And so you kind of see that this is her personality. Whereas some of the girls, you like, ooh,
switching up.
Yeah.
Both sides. They playing both sides.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
We'll see. We have hometowns next week, so we'll see who gets through.
I think you should start watching now, Deandra.
Yeah.
I think I should just to see. I want to see who he picks because I'm genuinely. Who said something? Was it Pilot Pete that made a statement saying that like he doesn't believe that Clayton is actually with one of these people? Or okay,
yeah,
okay, Pilot Pete.
Peter over here. Look, y'all, it's a mirror on the back of my phone. Peter over here watching The Bachelor, like, oh,
literally,
it is
that's
me.
not a mirror. He's like, he is not with any of this woman.
I think he does. I don't know who it is. I'm gonna throw out a guess.
Yep.
That I do think it's Susie. I think that's who he ends up with.
Really?
Is Susie the one that says everyone's like Hannah Brown?
Yeah.
Everyone says she looks like Hannah Brown. She resembles her. I mean, I don't think they look identical, but they resemble each other.
I'm gonna say Rachel, only because, and I saw it this episode specifically, when they sat down and that couples therapy, I was like, this is the future. Like they were sitting so close to each other. They were holding hands. They were just like, boo, yeah. I mean, he just be doing this and I'll be doing this. And we just, like, it was like, I saw
Get ready for couples therapy in our future.
Yeah.
That's
Not saying that it's
going.
a bad thing. Not saying that it's a bad thing. No, couples therapy has helped a lot of people grow in their relationship. No, but the body language between Rachel and Clayton is just, wow.
Really?
I saw it this
episode.
This is the episode that I saw it.
I see it more with Susie.
Well, so no.
Yeah. Well, I disagree with you.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Well, we gonna see.
Right.
Well, we gonna.
All right.
See.
We'll see.
We will see.
We will see.
We will see. Deandra, you want to just throw out a name there just for fun, and then we'll move on to the clickbait?
Serene, Gabby, Rachel, Susie.
I'm gonna go with Serene. Just because I think that I like her name and I can't remember which one she is, but I'm going to assume
she's
it's Serene.
gorgeous. She's beautiful.
Great.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that the one with curly hair?
No, she just went home.
Okay,
No,
I'm going to
that's
pick
Teddy,
Serene still.
Yeah,
Sure.
Teddy. She went home. Bye, Teddy.
Well,
we like
I
Teddy.
think I would say Natasha. I'm pretty sure you're wrong. Deandra, you're definitely wrong. Okay, let's do the clickbait, shall we?
Yes. What is the ick? That is the clickbait of the week. We've talked about the ick with Tia. We've talked about it with Joe. So, guys, do you guys know what the ick is? Because this article explains it, and it talks about when people, how easily people get the ick from someone. So, Deandra, look.
I know the ick all too well. I get the ick a lot.
I'm sorry, Joe. This might just be between me and my girl right here because
No, I know what the ick is.
Okay.
I've actually had a detailed conversation about the ick with Tia on Paradise. So I know what the ick is.
So
Yeah.
please enlighten us to you. What is the ick? Tell me.
Okay. So the ick is basically we started talking, we're in a relationship, we're not in a relationship, but we just start talking, and the one person gets the ick, which means they can't stand being around the other person. Everything that person does now drives them crazy, grosses them out. They just don't want to be around it. Initially, they went on a date with this person because they were interested, and they probably went on a second or third date, and they realized, I don't like the way this person chews. I don't like the way they laugh. Yeah. Everything this person does is grossing me out. I now have the ick. I can never get over the ick. It's irreversible. Bottom line.
I feel like we need to tailor that definition a little bit because I feel like I can get the ick from someone I like, but you did something that gave me the ick, and now I'm turned off. Maybe temporarily. Maybe you can come back. I feel like it's not both totally.
So Deandra says you can come back from the ick.
You can't.
Tia, I don't want to speak from Tia, but I think Tia was like, no, once I get the ick, it's over, right?
Yeah.
She did. Yeah.
There's a redemption ick.
Have you ever
Okay.
Have you ever came back from the ick?
I've come back from the ick before. Once. It was a circumstantial thing. They did something.
Does his name
at
start
first.
with a C?
Yeah. Those are the things. There's something that someone can do at the beginning of the relationship. Say like someone gets the ick when a man, like it's their first date and the man's like, let's split the bill. That's like a big ick for a lot of women. So like say you went on a first date with someone, he's like, let's split the bill. You're like, I'm never talking to you again. He comes back, redemption, recognizes what he's done. He's like, hey, I just wanted to test you. I don't know what it was, even though I don't like that. They can come back from that potentially, but that's like a redemption ick. Something that happens that turns you off and you're like, I'll give you one more chance. And they come back and okay.
Okay, so you give them another chance. I like that. I have never come back from the ick, and it's hard. The crazy thing is, it's hard for me to get the ick because it's hard for me to even go on a date with someone that it takes so much for me to even get to that point with someone.
What gives you the ick, Natasha?
Well, I'll tell you this. Normally, it's over time something. So the article, I want to make a really quick thing about the article that it talks about how some people self-sabotage with the ick, right? And I do believe that certain people will be like, oh girl, look at the car he drives. Oh, it's like, girl, what? You worried about his car? Like, you can buy another car. Like, why are you worried about that? Like, but that's like the psychological self-sabotaging that like, that's such an external thing that's nothing to do with that actual person. It's like a thing, right? So the article talks about that, and I think a lot of people do that. But for me, it's like over time, I'll notice something that I never noticed before. So I'll say, there was a boyfriend that I had that I was so in love with, like when I was in high school. This was high school. And I'll never forget this. The way that he drank out of a cup gave me the ick, and we never recovered. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's something so small, Natasha. Yeah. Like the way he drank out of a cup gave you the ick.
The way he drank out of a cup, it was like, you know how you normally drink out of a cup like this? Like you bring the cup to your mouth?
Yeah.
He would bring his mouth to the cup and be like, oh. And I was like, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, but see, I get that. That makes so much more sense to me and is so much more relatable. And I've gotten the ick as well, and it happens over time. Where if I don't like your car or something that something that you own, like that wouldn't give me the ick.
It's an external thing.
Yeah, but if you're like,
you leave the toilet seat up, that gives people ick. Or like you do random things, you can habits. You can come back from that hit.
But certain habits. But if you tell that person, but some people, it's like if you, he left his toilet seat up, girl, I'm never talking to him again. It's like, well, did you tell him that that's rude? Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Or you could be like me and throw water on them when you fall in.
Oh my
sleep. Don't be like me, y'all. Don't be like me. I've actually done that to my brothers. Let me tell you, my brothers' girlfriends and wives, they will thank me because when we were little, I definitely did that to them. I said, look, y'all, y'all can't do this. I threw water on them when I fell in. Anyways, they don't leave the seat up. Good training. Anyways, so the ick. So Joe, do you think you can come back from it?
No.
I
think I mean, there's always.
Deandra is a forgiving queen.
Yeah.
I think there's situational icks.
Situational
back
icks.
From certain ones, yes.
Okay, I hear that. I think it's an overtime thing for me, and for the most part, it's just like it's a turn off for me. It's a turn off, and it's a no. But I get icks when I very first meet people, and it's like I would never date you. Look at you, I would never date you. How do you conduct yourself like this? Why would you do that?
So lovely.
Yeah, no, meaning like the way that they talk to someone, or the way that they talk.
Right.
Yeah,
can't date you.
If I meet someone and the way that they're talking to a waiter or something like that, or they're just so on their high horse, I would be like, ew, no. I do the ill.
I've had that. I actually went out with a girl and I didn't like the way she was talking to the waitress, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I could get past that.
Yeah.
But I had this guy go, garçon. I go, do you know that means boys? Do not say that. Do not call him that.
Gosh. Okay, but we want to hear you guys. If anybody listening has ever come back from the ick,
please
let us know about it. Yeah, DM
know.
us. Let us know. We want to hear that story. Maybe we'll break that down next week.
Yes.
But right now, I think this guy, he really covers millennials and Gen Zs, and he probably knows a lot about the ick. So why don't we just ask him? Everyone, please welcome TikTok star Rod. Rod, what's up? How are you? Welcome to Clickbait. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
I see you got your Lottie's hat on.
Yes. Lottie's is my new staple.
Yeah.
I think I've just, I'm tired of the frills of everywhere else in Chicago. So it's nice to go somewhere that's just like a dive that, you can just like go up to the bar, get a drink and hang out.
Yeah, it's more chill for people that are listening. I know Rod; he's from Chicago, and Lottie's is a bar in Chicago. That's a pretty chill spot. Don't they do stand up over there?
I haven't been when they don't stand up. I've been for karaoke, I think so.
Okay,
which is
are you
as funny sometimes.
What's your karaoke song?
Oh, it's Super Bass, 100%.
Oh,
yeah.
amazing!
No questions asked.
That's really good.
Because I know all the words and I don't have to look at the screen, so it's just
wow. Could you sing us a little melody from the song?
I don't know if I'm ready to, Grace.
Yeah, no, we won't do that. All right, so let's kind of get into let's get into what you do and what you did before you kind of blew up on social media. I would consider you a comedian. Right? I mean, right?
That's the I guess the path I'm going now. Is like comedy. I'm actually pursuing some stand-up stuff here at Second City in Chicago. So hopefully comedy more officially coming in the upcoming months.
Are you currently in Chicago, by the way?
Yep. Okay. Currently in Chicago, but I go to LA at least once a month for my own podcast.
Nice.
Okay. So what did you do before you blew up on social media and where you were able to transition your career?
Yeah, absolutely. I worked in sales for 10 years and I just, once you're in sales, I don't know if any of you guys have been in sales, but it is like, oh, well, I'm doing this for the rest of my life. There's no like lateral movement. It's only upward. And then it's so hard to move upward. So I never expected any of this to happen. And then pandemic hit, TikTok, everyone was obviously like scrolling their For You page during Zoom calls. And so I started making videos about my Zoom calls and people started relating to them and kind of blew up from there. And then I started doing more nostalgic millennial content, talking about like Gen Z culture, educating millennials on the internet while still touching on nostalgia, giving updates on, millennial icons. And then now kind of created this, page of nostalgia, humor, but also relatability and talking actually a lot about mental health as well.
I would consider it not only a pay. I mean, it's a brand. I would say you're a brand now.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm trying to embrace. Is that
it's also you could also think of it kind of like community. It's like when I go to your page, I know that like Rod feel me though. He feel me though. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like yeah. I was just looking through our messages and you posted something that said, I have so much to do, so I'm not going to do any of it.
Oh yeah. That's my most common thought, I would say.
Like, how many people can relate to that? Right?
Yeah.
It's my life.
Jeez. That is the millennial life.
Do you remember your first video that popped off?
Yeah, it was set to, do you know that song Every Time We Touch by Cascada?
Yeah.
Every Time We Touch. Yeah, so that was like a deep track that like, I don't know. I still listen to that kind of music when I need serotonin boost. My therapist said to listen to, music from my childhood. It makes you feel good. And I was listening to that stuff. And then I just like, you know what? I haven't seen a TikTok using this song, so I'm going to use it. And the people loved it. And so I just, but it was talking about millennials using throwback songs to avoid crying at their corporate job, I think is what I said.
Were you shocked?
Oh, appalled. Yeah, I think I was texting my friend Chloe, who had recently gone viral on TikTok as well, and I'm like, "What is happening?" She goes, "Make another one," and I'm like, "No, I can't make another one. My boss is gonna see it." I made another one, and then my boss saw it. So, but they were chill with it. They were cool with it.
I actually have a quick question because it's like so many people go viral so often. How did you know when you were going to make a career out of TikTok and content creation and being a comedian? Like, how did you feel safe enough to step out of the sales space, essentially?
Yeah, so I think I talk a lot about anxiety, and I don't think my anxiety will ever allow me to feel safe, especially in something that's what they call a gig economy, where it's based on brand deals, based on, numbers and an algorithm, which is terrifying. But I had this opportunity to travel Italy for a month and try coffee all around Italy with Lavazza. And it was an amazing experience. I'm so grateful for my followers for allowing me to do that, but also for Lavazza. And then I approached my boss about it. And I was like, hey, I have this opportunity to travel Italy for a month. What are your thoughts? And like, well, yeah, definitely we can give you a month off, but is this what you want to do forever, or do you want to pursue this? And they were kind of the ones to push me and say, you should pursue it. The door will always be open. Do you want to come back? But we've seen you kind of flourish. And they said that they saw a different side of me doing this, even at work. Like my conversations, I was able to be more open and be more myself by actually putting my entire self on the internet.
Shout out your company, because I've never heard of a company being like, you can come back
Go
whenever.
do it.
Shout out your company.
Yeah, they're called Ship Bob. They're in West Loop here in Chicago, and they actually they did logistics for small businesses. So the pandemic like caused them to soar as well. So it's kind of interesting to see like my company soar, but then like me do this and also like grow. So the pandemic was fortunately good to me, as I know it wasn't to a ton of people, but it was very encouraging to work for a company like that.
I love that.
So either way, you was gonna flourish. I love that. I love that. Oh, that's great.
Okay, so how? I was. So, you know, you're really big on TikTok. You're really big on Instagram. Do you plan on? And now you have a podcast. You're on YouTube. What's the overall picture? What's the goal?
Yeah, I have always said I just want to interview people for a living. Like my dream job growing up was to be like Jimmy Fallon, Conan O'Brien, you know, but again, that's a dream job. You know, when I was 23 coming out of college, entering my sales career, I was like, well, that's never going to happen to me, but that would be amazing if it did. But now it's a reality. So I guess, I don't know, like that is what I want to do, is just interview people. So there could be doing the podcast forever, but I've had some really cool conversations with really cool people and have some cool people lined up. But yeah, just interviewing people. I did a red carpet for the Dune movie in London and got to chat with like Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet, and they were amazing people to chat with. So I think, I don't know. That's it.
Yeah,
it's just
interviewing people, but like on a massive level. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Just educating. I like educating people. So I think educating people about other people, if that makes sense, and just giving people their opportunity to speak, because that's something I never want to do, is speak for someone else, but you know, allow people to speak up or speak up for other people.
So before you started doing these videos, did you used to, like, you know, you have all these things that you tweet and they make so much sense, like the thing that I said earlier. Did you used to just say these things to your friends and then be like, oh, I should write that down, or oh, I should talk about that? Like, does it just come to you, or are you like brainstorming and then it comes to you?
So everything I've been doing the past year and a half is brand new. I was never a writer, and now I'm writing my own TV pilot, which isn't like signed with anywhere or anything, but it's just a nice, you know, kind of outlet to have. But it's crazy just to see how much I've learned about myself. So to answer your question, no, like I was never the funny person of the group. I found myself as annoying. And so I would I'm that kind of person where I'm telling a story and then I could see if the person's disengaged. I'm like, I just stop telling it and like walk away, just because I overthink those conversations so much. So I think that's why TikTok has been nice, is because there are people out there who want to hear my story or want to hear what I have to say. So I have my note section is like full of just chaotic ideas, and I should probably be a little bit more organized. But yeah, I just usually just put a thought to Twitter whenever I think it, and then it, you know, people either relate to it or they don't, and it is what it is.
Nice.
I tweet all the time. I do. I tweet all the time.
I've seen your tweets, Joe.
A lot of nonsense.
I need to tweet more. So tell us about your podcast. How did it come about? What started it? Kind
of the same thing. Like I said, I've always wanted to interview people. So this was just, I've always wanted to have a podcast. Of course, I'm a millennial. So which millennial doesn't think that has something to say on the internet? So I was like, okay, yeah, I should make a podcast. And this was 5 years ago even. And I was going to make it around like a sales career, or I was going to make it around, you know, men's mental health. And then all of this stuff started growing so quickly that paused. And I'm like, that should have been the first thing I did. But I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to focus on TikTok and Instagram for now. And then I started doing my millennial recaps, which I, you know, again, talk about nostalgia, talk about like Free Britney, you know, or Lindsay Lohan's acting career, and then Gen Z words or the chair emoji, stuff like that. And then I realized I'm like, I could make this, because I was filming it and I would film 20 minutes of content. And then I would just try to fit in 1 minute to put onto TikTok or Instagram.
Right.
Yes.
So then I thought, well, I should just make a podcast, 20-minute video podcast. And then that's when I started working with Dear Media and their amazing podcast network. and I'm their first podcast, because I put everything on YouTube and I have those same visuals I had in my Millennial recaps, and then now I have guests and stuff I'm able to chat with as well.
That's
I feel
great.
like I always want to ask people who aren't from this space, like obviously you didn't originate in this space, this is all new to you. Do you get hate? And if so, how do you deal with it? Because it's like to go from someone who's not really present on the internet to blow up, like what is your experience with that?
Oh my gosh. I think luckily I kind of came out of the gates hot with my insecurities, where people probably felt bad. And 90% of my following is women, and I talk a lot about men's mental health. I do get the occasional duet of like an alpha bro who is like, just suck it up and blah blah blah. It's like, cool, dude.
Right.
It's like, but then I look at his page and he has no profile picture, and his hairline is receding far back to the opposite side of his head. I'm like, okay, I could care less what you have to think.
Yeah.
But there
You're
is
just a hater.
occasionally,
You're just a
yeah.
hater.
I think what I'm having a hard time with, and you guys could probably relate, is, people just, first of all, getting upset when they don't know everything about your life, or they're like trying to dig into your life and like all this stuff. Or if someone gets upset that they don't like, I hate the comment. It's like, are you transcending your current audience? Because like, even when I met Shania Twain, someone was like, you're too big for me now. They wrote that comment. And of course there were like thousands of other comments like, oh, this is amazing. So excited for you. So happy for you. But then that one comment, of course, I read, and I'm like, am I?
Am I too big for you guys?
But I'm like, that's never who I want to be. And I've always tried to like kind of ground myself. And that's why I stayed in Chicago, and that's why I still work corporate job part-time, because I still, I still, first of all, want to be able to relate to my audience, but also I just need that grounding, because who knows what's going to happen when it's going to happen.
I think that there's this weird misconception with social media, and that like once you go viral once or twice or three times, all of a sudden you're too big for everybody. Like the whole point of content creation is to be relatable. It's to be on your level. That's why we're content creators. Like,
yeah. And I think what I'm having an issue too with right now is brand deals. Cause of course, like brand deals, kind of like I need to buy a plane ticket to go meet Shania Twain, like all that. But also I give a lot of my proceeds from my brand deals to charities, which I'm not going to brag about on the internet, but I'm like, that's something that I'm having a hard time with, is because we do live in such a capitalist society where people are like, brand deals suck, and all like, you were funny before you started buying or selling out. And it's like, well, I'm not really selling out, but I'm just,
yeah.
Wouldn't you rather see a commercial from someone like me who makes videos for you every day in my voice than a commercial on your Hulu?
Yeah,
platform?
it's still something that I think people are getting used to, but also it's that thing of like, when people say like, you think you're the shit, it's like, I never said that. You think that, because I never said that. What? You know what I mean? So you kind of have to like block that mentality out. And, I say to people come up to me and they're like, oh, your life has changed so much, hasn't it? I'm like, nah, like my dogs are still my dogs. You know what I mean? Like, nah, not really. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, you have a platform, and you have a bigger platform, and you want to share things with people, of course, but the who you are is still who you are. And I think that for a lot of people that's hard to I think that people think that that's hard to relate to, but it's not. It's like and that's where, when you do share your life on social media, I find it very interesting that you're saying that you're still getting these things, but everyone that I talk to loves you so much, but it's just human nature to focus on, what the negativity or what people say.
Of course. And I go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say everyone's got an opinion. So
yeah, I do like that you can filter comments on most platforms now, so you can put in like specific words that you don't like, that someone's gonna
Would you suggest that? Would you suggest people do that?
There are certain words that I don't like to perpetuate in my comments, so there are certain, I don't have a huge list, but I have like probably 3 or 4 words.
Okay. Yes. Well, we want to talk to you about The Bachelor.
Yes, I'm now an expert.
Yes, darling. How long have you been watching the show?
Okay, so I have an interesting journey with the Bachelor franchise and Bachelor Nation. The year after I graduated college, my roommate and I were sitting watching ABC News, just catching up on the daily news back before, Instagram was huge, and that's where everyone was getting their news. And we were also like playing around on computers, whatever. And then The Bachelor started playing, and we didn't realize we both, by the end of the episode, were enthralled in it, and we were watching it. It was Juan Pablo's season. So
Oh, no.
a mess.
So you go back.
Yeah, I go back. And then we each decided that we're like, okay, well, I'm gonna pick what's her name? The girl starts with an A who had her own season. Andy. And then my roommate picked Nikki. He's like, whoever gets kicked off first will stop watching. And they were like the final two, right? So we watched it, and then we watched Andy's season. So then it kind of spiraled from there. Took a little break, and then once Claire and Tasha's drama started, like when Claire bowed out and Tasha came on, that's when I started watching again. So
okay,
couple seasons again recently.
Are you caught up with the current season?
I'm not caught up with the current season. A lot of travel and stuff. I see a lot on Instagram now, so I know that Shanae, is that some girl's name?
Yeah.
Shanae,
yeah.
Everybody knows her.
Yeah. So I know there's some drama surrounding that. Clayton's been in a lot of headlines recently as well. But I did watch Michelle's season, and of course watched Katie's season and Matt's.
What is your take on Bachelor Nation as a whole? Because Bachelor Nation is massive and it's very opinionated, and there's a lot of wonderful things people put out there, and then there's a lot of hate. So yeah.
I think when I even just said I'm exhausted, like I was like, hey guys, like there's just a lot going on. Like I even announced like I'm probably not gonna do these recaps as much. I lost. That's one thing where people were like, sell out, unfollowing, all this stuff.
Really?
Oh my god, okay, wow. And that was probably the most feedback I've gotten from an announcement like that. And then and so that was really intense for me, but it's been really supportive overall, and I think it has brought a lot of followers to my page from doing those recaps. And the recaps were fun because everyone is thinking the same thing, kind of, or people think different things, and it's just engaging conversation. But at the end of the day, people are like, okay, it's not my reality, and it's something for me to escape reality, which I think is which has been a really good thing for Bachelor Nation. And I did appreciate in Katie's season, and I talk openly about this, when Nick came on and did that like round table for mental health. I think that was really important, because for me, I had a hard time even watching The Bachelor, because to be transparent, like I have a lot of body dysmorphia from going through weight loss and all this stuff. And so when you see these like ripped dudes running around, you're like, well, I can't relate. But then to hear them talk about their mental health and be more open was really encouraging as a guy to hear.
Nice.
I love that.
Okay. Here, she's back.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Yeah.
Natasha cuts out a little bit.
And then your season of Paradise was the first one I watched.
Really? What'd you think about that?
I think it was great. It was so engaging. I think it was so interesting because through my recaps, met a lot of people that were on the show, like Natasha and Joe, Jasenia, Anna, 'cause she was here in Chicago, Katie, and now Greg and Andrew I'm friends with. So it's just been interesting. I was like, okay, well maybe I should watch, because at that time I became friends with them, and like I'm gonna watch this show. And then it just got so like drama filled, and there were all the memes. The Avengers meme with you, Joe, cracked me up. So it was. I think it was a little
disgruntled
bit more,
females.
Yeah, I know it still had the most dramatic episode ever feel to it, but it was a little bit more lighthearted, and I feel like you guys had more fun with the show through Paradise.
Yeah, it's definitely. I would say Paradise is the comedy of the two, of the three.
Yeah, the three.
Would you ever go on it yourself?
No.
If you're single, I don't know if you're single.
I'm not, but no, I wouldn't.
Okay.
You would not?
No, I don't think I would. I would love to do a segment. I've always thought of a couple segments that I would love to do if a producer's ever interested, but I don't think I would. It's a lot of pressure for me. And already, I can't handle hate, and just for that many eyes to be on me on national level, which kind of already is, but
yeah,
for that long, I don't know if I could deal with.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you say that, because they had Z-Way on this past season.
And Hillary Duff.
Yeah, I mean, Hillary Duff, different thing, but like Z-Way, I mean, honey, I mean, that's basically you, right?
Z-Way is much cooler than I am, and much funnier.
No, she's hilarious,
yeah.
but like I could see that for your future. Is what I'm trying to say.
You.
I could see that happening for your future, for sure. So Paradise, you said you're friends with Andrew. A lot of people want him to go on Paradise. How do you think he's going to do if he does go?
I think Andrew would be a crowd favorite. What you see and Joe can test this, what you see on camera is what you get in real life. The energetic, funny guy, but he's so kind and so inclusive. And, whenever he's in town, always make sure to, check in, see if we can hang out, and he's he would do amazing on the show. I think he would probably be more emotional than most people that I've seen on Paradise so far too. You know,
Yeah, they better not break my boy heart.
Yeah,
they better not do that. They better not do that to him.
Our producer, she really wants us to ask you this question. So Clayton, who is the Bachelor, is like a big Chipotle guy. And I know that you did a Chipotle TikTok. So what is your go-to Chipotle order?
Oh my God. And this is so interesting because when I did my ad, I got what's called a celebrity card. So I get free Chipotle for a year.
No.
So I've been going a lot. Yeah.
Wait, Big Sean got that too, I think.
Yeah,
and he did a whole thing with that. Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah, it's been great. But it's a bowl, brown rice, black beans, extra veggie. I mix barbacoa and carnitas. I think that's award winning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Changing the game.
Yeah, and then medium salsa, corn. Skip the cheese, skip the sour cream because I want to be healthy. And then guacamole and lettuce. And then the secret is you ask for limes, and then you get that jalapeno Tabasco sauce and put that on top too.
No drink, no beverage, no Topo Chico,
no, just a cup of water. Their water hits different.
Okay.
Their water hits different.
It's different.
I feel like just melted
water.
ice, but yeah, the Chipotle water hits different.
You guys want to hear mine?
Reaction. Yeah, of course.
Joe, let's hear yours.
All right,
Mr.
so
Foodie.
I do. It's very simple. Just a burrito, white rice, chicken, cheese, lettuce, black beans, and then I put my own hot sauce on it. That's what
like when you get home?
Yeah.
What kind of hot sauce is that?
I mean, I like Cholula, Tabasco, Frank's Red Hots.
So they don't have that they don't have that.
No, they have a Chipotle Tabasco, but not the regular one.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you'd be putting your own sauce on it, Joe.
Listen, I will always promote Sundays with Joe.
Like dipping.
I will always promote Sundays with Joe, except when it comes to pairing it with a burrito. That I would say not to do. Okay.
Speaking of Chipotle, I just have to tell you guys. One day I went to my brother. He just moved into his own place. I went to his house. I look in his stove on his stove. He had Chinese food rice and Chipotle in it.
Ew. Oh, he like mixed them together?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta use the leftovers somehow. Like you just gotta get it down.
What is wrong with you?
I would experiment. I'll try anything once.
And also, my brother will eat anything, and so I'm just like, I was appalled. It was do not mix those two. We can't mix the Italian and the Chipotle. Can't mix the Chinese food. And
Love that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes. Okay.
That's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Disgusting. Had to share.
Rod, for people that want to become content creators, especially content creators on TikTok, what advice would you give them?
I would say don't let the algorithm get you down. Try different things, but once you do find something that works, keep going with that. Like you see Elise Myers, who I know is a friend to Bachelor Nation. She posts a lot of similar relatable content as well. And just keep being yourself and have a personality, because I would say don't focus on the numbers. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, well, this person has like 5 million followers, but no one knows their name. They just see the food they cook, or they see, whatever, where I have virtually in the TikTok world, I don't have as many followers. I have like 1.3 million, but I've created more of a personality. Yeah, it's a lot, but I'm saying like there's now people just quickly surpassing for doing a lot less, which is fine. But I've created, this personality for myself, which has caused brands to want to work with me because I have an actual voice, but also it just creates a relatability that I think is the most important part of being a content creator.
So on TikTok, you're pro niche, because I've seen so many different things that are like find a niche and stick to it, or you can just be whoever you want to be. Like pro niche, anti niche, like what is your thing? Like what's actually gonna work? Yeah,
so I think when I started focusing on my niche, and now I just like kind of focus on whatever I want to make, which is fine, because again, I realize a number doesn't mean anything. I stopped growing. So if you want to grow, niche is the way to go. But you can find different ways, and the algorithm's always changing, where right now I feel like the algorithm is like you have to make the same video over and over and over again in order to grow, in order to catch because the algorithm works on your newest audience. It like captures what your newest audience wants, and then it'll push it to your old audience. So but then there's times that the algorithm pushes like 8 of my videos out that have nothing to do with each other. So it really is just a fresh idea. I think TikTok's always trying new things, but yeah, I think creating a community, like Natasha said, is really important in order to be a successful content creator, and not a huge content creator, but successful.
Yeah. Okay.
I like that.
2 more of these really quick.
And then we got to play a game.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And how much time do you spend creating, and do you have a team?
Yeah, of course. I used to spend hours creating, but then once I realized that the algorithm doesn't care how long it takes you to make a video, you know, and my mental health was, because I was like looking at a video I would sometimes take an hour to make, and then it would be abysmally low. I stopped and like, this is too much for me. I even took a break for like a month, and then I just started making content that I'm like, you know what, this would be a funny video, or this is something that I just thought of that maybe other people relate to. And that's when I started, you know, feeling a lot better about mental health. So I would say right now about an hour a day.
An hour a day.
And,
nice.
Yeah. And then I'm again working with like different charities and stuff. So that's where I'm finding most of my day. And then my part-time corporate job takes up some of the week too.
Right.
So
I
you're
think that's
more...
the beautiful thing about TikTok is like you can make a quick video. If it's relatable, like it gets pushed. It doesn't matter about the aesthetic. Like just make it fun, make it quick.
Exactly.
So you're more off the cuff, more improv, more go off of how you're feeling and shoot it out.
Yep. Usually, unless it's like I know that like I think I'm gonna create a millennial recap once I have like 5 things to talk about. But other than that, it's most of my videos are 7 to 10 seconds long. So it's just a quick one.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay. We're going to ask you a series of questions. It's rapid fire, and you're just going to tell us if it's millennial or Gen Z.
Great.
More so. Which first one comes to mind, okay?
Okay.
TikTok.
Gen Z.
Podcast.
Millennial.
Doc Martens.
Gen Z.
Tesla.
Millennial.
Celery juice.
Millennial.
Yoga.
Millennial.
Body glitter.
Gen Z.
Facebook.
Boomer.
Yeah.
Twitter.
Millennial.
Bucket hats.
Gen Z. But also millennial. Wait, are you saying
and also boomer and
also boomer?
Yeah.
I think
bucket hats been around for forever.
It's a trend that's coming back now, but it was definitely for 90s kids. Yeah.
I'm about to say I got one right here too.
Yeah.
Avocado toast.
Millennial.
Venmo.
Millennial, I'd say.
The Bachelor.
Oh, millennial.
Strong millennial. I would say millennials.
Millennial.
Yes.
That was amazing. Oh, and listen, you're great. You're so great. Like I could see you doing that. What we just did. Look, thanks to our producer, I could see you doing that like about everything. You know, like you know.
That's a good idea for video. You should do it.
Look, send some of the charity. Oh, I should do that. No, this is your thing.
No, come on. That's one. To jump back to a previous question really quickly, I think my advice would be like, I always get people in my DMs like, hey, you should make a video about this. I'm like, no, you should. Like, that's the beauty of an algorithm, is that if it's shit or crappy or what, I don't know if you guys.
You could swear,
You can swear. Go ahead, drop it, honey.
If it's shit, then no one's gonna see it because the algorithm's not gonna like it. So if anything, it's not like you put a video out there for millions of people to see. Right. So I would say just give it a shot.
All right, Rod, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate you. I will be in Chicago this weekend, so hit me up if you're out.
Yeah, going to a Bulls game.
I'll be in LA if you'll be in LA.
Well, I won't be in Natasha because I'll be in Chicago. But when I'm in LA, I'll hit you up.
Yeah, let me know. I'll be there for another 2 weeks.
Oh, great. Perfect.
All right, that was Rod. Watch all his TikToks. He's from Chicago, so I've met him a few times.
I'm so excited to hear his new podcast. Really happy for him.
It was, I'll tell you what was, I really like hearing about like the algorithm of TikTok and you know, how to get bigger and whatnot. So I find it very insightful. Deandra, we do have to say, honestly, you were,
you're fantastic.
You were really, really good today. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for joining us on Clickbait.
Of course. Thank you guys. Thank you, listeners, and thank you, Rod. We are always casting for the upcoming seasons of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, though. So head to bachelornation.com/apply to nominate yourself or someone else.
Yes, and as always, make sure to subscribe and submit all your questions to us. We want to know what clickbait you're getting into this week. Make sure to follow us at ClickbaitBN on Instagram. All our links to all our social media accounts are right there. Love hearing from you guys.
Clickbait is available on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you guys listen. You can listen ad-free by downloading the Wondery app or subscribing to Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.